in your upper left-hand corner that we are now recording. And I'd like to just introduce who we have here on our call today. So as always, we've got Laura Moore, who is our middle school counselor. We've got Polly Beschenstein, who is our lower and upper elementary school psychologist. We have our fearless leader, Adam Rohde. Across the top, I'm just looking at boxes here. I see Rick Colombo from the high school. I know Dr. Winters is here from the high school. I saw Mr. Corson here from our middle school. I know we have Andrew Leday on, which is wonderful. Thanks for joining us, Andrew. And then we've got our PE department. We've got Tim Helstein, who's our fearless leader of that, and William Turner, or Will Turner. And I saw Peter Wamsley on here earlier. Do I still see? Hi, Peter. And so welcome, everybody. And what we wanted to do today was bring our PE department on to see if anybody had any questions or thoughts for them, or things that they, I don't know, questions that they might have about exercising or working out, or all of our online resources that they have created, which honestly have been amazing. I was just on it the other day, team, and saw Mr. Scanlon's boxing one. I thought that one was just amazing. And what a great workout, by the way. I tried to do a couple of Mr. Helstein's workouts and couldn't do them. So stopped doing them because I didn't want him to know I couldn't do the whole thing. And so I wanted to know, Tim, are those for real, or did you cut and splice them?
That's all real. This is all real. I have to, you know, so modeling, right? We're going to talk about that soon, modeling. So yep, that's real.
So before we go to Tim, I don't know, Adam, if you had any updates or anything that you wanted to talk about, or we just let Tim jump into some of the good stuff he's going to talk about.
Just a hello to everybody. You got my most recent correspondence, which was definitely the email that I did not want to write, but wanted to keep you all up to date on what the thinking was as quickly as it's coming out, and appreciate your flexibility and your supportiveness as we move into sort of this next phase, which gets us thinking about sort of the close of this year, planning for the summer, and then ultimately the reopening of school in the fall. And hope that all of your families are safe and healthy, and we miss you. You'll be getting lots more communications from us in the coming days as we start to nail down decisions around all those different topics. And as always, the lines of communication are wide open. So hit us up with any emails that you have, any questions, give a phone call over. We're here, we stand here ready. And I'm excited to hear from the PE folks because the only thing I think I can take away from this quarantine is about 15 extra pounds. So tell me how to deal with it.
Adam, it's Tim Oberweger, and I wanted to say that your correspondence, for those of you on the call that or on the Zoom that haven't read it, it's already brought Willow, my wife, to tears twice. So I wanted to put it out there to the world that you are obviously much more pulling at the heartstrings than I could ever do, and you're an amazing writer to bring anyone to tears even once. So I wanted to just say your heartfelt note was definitely appreciated from our home. So I wanted to let you know.
You're kind to say that, Tim. I do appreciate that, and I'd like to take full credit, but we got a great team working on it, and our team is above and beyond, and so they deserve all the credit, and they'll keep working hard for all the kids because we miss them and we love them. So I'll end there, Jeff.
Thanks, Adam. Tim, do you want to jump in and say a few words?
Sure. I'm just going to piggyback on the great team aspect and more of a micro version of that. Peter Wamsley, our fearless middle school athletic director, is here. Will Turner, I know we did the introductions. Will Turner is our strength and conditioning coach. He has been running the daily Zoom workouts every single day, Monday through Friday, at 3:15. That's open to all middle and upper schoolers. He's also put in numerous workouts on our website. The fitness page that we've created that has both strength and conditioning workouts as well as body weight workouts. We are here just to answer any questions about present, about future. We're here to give any advice. We're here just to, if it needs to, calm nerves, and we're here to listen as well. So anything that you would like to discuss or have questions about, please feel free to ask, and we are welcome, or we're happy to answer. All right, thanks.
So the very first question that came up on the chat was, I saw that camp is going to open as of now. Does that mean the students will still be able to be counselors?
I guess I should take that one. I just heard actually 10 minutes ago that Brunswick just closed their summer camp. So I don't know what was driving that decision, but Lamont did actually give guidance that summer camps could open, and we're operating off of that guidance. And so obviously that's subject to change, but anticipating that we're going to be able to open. It's a slightly delayed open. I believe it's the 29th now. And we would anticipate to run the camp as we had hoped to run it in terms of staffing and students who have signed up. We will clearly have some significant changes in hygiene protocols and drop-off protocols and social distancing, and where kids will participate in their activities and what the swimming pool will be or won't be. So lots of things that we'll have to figure out. But the short answer would be yes, I would anticipate that the kids who had been hired to be counselors, we will bring them on, and barring any significant changes and guidelines, we're excited to have them.
So a question I just got was, reads, our question is, how can you make your child want to go outside and do some physical activity? We can force them outside, and they might shoot baskets for 15 minutes, but then that is done, and he is right back in his room using screen time. I do restrict Wi-Fi at times, but even that does not help him exercise more. We can force him outside, and he might shoot baskets. Okay, that's just a repeat. So I guess it's, what do we do? How do we help our kids get outside, exercise more? And how as parents do we help encourage that and make that happen?
Sure, I'll start out answering that. Hopefully with nicer weather, that's going to help. I will say that. Two things come right to mind, and the first is we actually had when we were talking about our N through 5 parent forum before, Jackie spoke about modeling, and I think that's an important factor to say that parents or students, children are going to model what their parents are doing. I think a great opportunity during this whole tricky, difficult season is to be able to model some of the exercise, some of the fitness things that maybe you would want your students to, or your children to partake in. Even doing something along going outside with your children, and if they're shooting baskets for 15 minutes, but they're probably shooting by themselves, go outside and pass them the ball. Be the one that's collecting the rebounds and pass it to them. Sometimes people are just looking for connection, and that's a really important piece. And I think possibly when they go back inside and go back on their screen, that might be a way that they find that connection, because they might be on their screen connecting with classmates, getting on a video game. And you know what? Truth be told, I think that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, because I think screens can be either consuming, they can help you with creation, or they can help you with connection. And I think that's a really important factor. So one, model it. Go outside with your children if you have the opportunity to. That's a really exciting opportunity. The other thing is, you can always create a list. Have your child create a list of things that they like to do that don't have to do with screen time. I like to shoot baskets. I like to chip golf balls. I like to jump on a trampoline, anything like that, and have that list. And then honestly, what you can say to your child is, if a timer goes off, or for the next 20 minutes, I want you to pick something off this list, something that you have created, that you have enjoyed doing, and I want you to partake in that. I want you to do that. And I'm going to set this timer for 20 minutes, and literally don't come back inside until 20 minutes is up. Or why don't you ask me? I will help join you in this. And I think those are some excellent opportunities to do. The other thing that we keep going back to is we really do have a website that we've created a lot of different fitness opportunities that not only have to do with strength and conditioning and body weight, but they also have to do with sport-specific skills. So this child likes to shoot baskets. Clearly they're maybe into basketball. Well, Coach Scanlon, Coach Leday, Coach Williams, Coach Brown, and Coach Creech have all put together basketball workouts and some drills that they can do. So I encourage the students to go to the website, look at these sport-specific skills, take a skill, and work on that outside. And maybe that will be a little bit more motivating to them.
Great, thank you, Tim. Anyone else have any thoughts? Laura or Polly or, I don't know, Peter or Will or Andrew?
Just hearing a little bit of age-appropriate pushback, I would say, from middle school kids that you know, who love their sports, but sort of feel like going outside. And I know intellectual exercise is good for me. They know that, and despite how much they're rolling their eyes at you, they know. But are sort of like, I love the practice for sports, but part of what I love is being with my friends. And so there is a bit of a natural pushback to some of this. I think we're all in the same boat with it to some degree, and Tim's suggestions are great. The modeling is great, but please do continue to expect a little bit of a pushback. And I think when the weather does get warmer, things should ease a little bit.
So just to let everyone know, what I did the other day is I had a kind of a morning hoop session with some children, and we played horse. So they brought their laptop and we played a game of horse with basketball. So they brought the screen outside and we were able to connect that way while everyone was keeping moving and motivated. So I think it's super important just to keep being creative of how we can get what the kids want, which is some screen time and connection with friends while they're doing some exercise or moving around.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I love that. Okay. The next question on here in order, I think, as long as I don't miss any, is have fall coaches been able to provide information to their prospective athletes to assist in preparation for next year's possible teams?
Yep. So we're just getting that's a great question. We're just getting the rosters of students and their sports that they're looking to participate in. And fall coaches have those rosters. They are beginning to reach out. Just an exciting time is on Tuesday. We reached out to all incoming students and current 8th graders that are moving up to the high school, and we invited them to Will Turner's workout. And in that workout, all the fall coaches were there, and then we opened up breakout rooms for them to have an opportunity to meet with their fall coaches and hear some of the plans that they have over the summer and the plans for the fall. Today we have, after this, we're going into our winter coaches and doing the same thing. And then on Monday, we're doing that with our spring coaches. So we want to make sure that all students, incoming and current 8th graders going up to the 9th grade, get the opportunity to meet their coaches, discuss some of these initiatives that the coaches have, and be prepared for what the future is going to hold. Also, at the same time, we have our coaches receiving the signups from current students as well as incoming students, and they're going to start sending out communication and making sure that everybody's aware of what happens in the summer. So just so you know, as we've joined our leagues, NEPSAC, the New England Preparatory Association, Athletic Association, they have rules that you are not able to work with your team outside of the season until the summertime. At the summertime, the gates are open, the doors are open, the windows are open, you can work with anybody you want. And so now it's going to be the time that coaches are really reaching out, talking about not only here's some workouts we're doing in the off season, but these are some opportunities that we can get together, that we can do workouts, small group, individual, large group, depending on kind of what restrictions are. But we're really excited for kind of that summertime gun to go off to be able to start prepping for the fall season.
So as a good follow-up, it says Adam's email said fall sports might look different. What are the thoughts about fall sports?
Yeah, and that's a great question. And I want everybody to know that one thing is that every week the athletic directors in the FAA get together and we have these conversations. And then also almost bi-weekly right now, all the athletic directors in all the New England independent schools get together and have these conversations. And we are on the forefront of figuring this all out. The difficult part, I'll be honest, is that we don't know what that will look like. We are just having 10 different scenarios. And what are those scenarios? Those scenarios are things go on as normal, and that's everything that we are knocking on wood, keeping our fingers crossed, praying, whatever you want to say, we are doing that. Another scenario is if season needs to be delayed a little bit. Perhaps the fall season starts in October instead of September. We're preparing for that. And every season, because of that, gets a little bit more condensed. They still get the same amount of time, but you get it a little bit more condensed. Another scenario is, do you switch some sports to the fall season? Things like golf, tennis, cross country, individual sports, do they become a fall sport and you hold off on the team sports and the more contact sports for the spring season? You know, there's so many different scenarios, but what I can promise you is that not only are we all working together on this, but we're all creating plans for when something is decided, when we are all aligned, how we're going to come forward and how we're going to compete and make sure our students have the best opportunity possible. To be honest with you, you know, even if we're not able to have a competitive season, let's say, maybe there's restrictions on you can't compete against other schools, but you can have your own intramural season. We're going to have that. Or I've thought about things like if you can't have contact sports, you know, there's ways to social distance and to create something to happen. So let's say all quarterbacks come together in football, and that's from the upper school to the middle school, and they work on quarterback skills. All right, and they can be equally socially distanced. You can do the same thing with wide receivers, same thing with goalies in soccer. So there's ways that we can still work around restrictions that we're willing to do and create. But what I can tell you is that we're on the forefront of this and we're being prepared for whatever comes our way. We will have a plan that makes sure that every student is able to participate in these sports and get the fitness that they deserve and want, and the experience.
Just to piggyback on that, Jeff, too, this is something all the middle schools are also, I guess, mirroring, and we're doing the similar. We're in the process right now of creating our fall schedule as we've always created it. But in every single one of those conversations is what happens if, you know, these guidelines, you know, from the state are still as they are now. What do we do? How do we move forward? And so there's conversations from the top all the way down to the bottom and all interscholastic sports of what are they going to look like? And as echoing what Tim said, this keeps changing weekly, monthly. We don't really know, but what we try to do is just kind of look out into the future and imagine every different scenario. And then if that scenario were to come true, we'll be like, we thought of that one, here's what we're going to do. So it's from 6th grade, or some schools start interscholastically in 5th grade. So it's a conversation that's out there right now being had, looking forward.
Thank you, Peter. Okay, next question is, can we add a daily outdoor movement time requirement that students document? The parent wrote, I want Tim to know I'm modeling and it's not working, which I think goes back to what Laura said, which is you're probably still going to get some pushback.
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, as we have stepped into the season, and we stepped into it quicker than we all anticipated or were ready for. Actually, no, I'll take that back. We were ready for it. I'm not going to lie. We were ready for it. But as we all anticipated, we wanted to make sure that things like these requirements were not using that word, a requirement. We wanted to make sure that the health, emotional health, and safety of the students came first. And so we wanted to put out and say, we are here for you. We are here. Here's this website. Here's live workouts. Come join us. We are here, open arms. We're one click away. That said, I know there's some, you know, reluctancy when it's not being pushed to people. You know, what our team has discussed is things, should we have to ever move forward with a tiny season of remote learning or something for the future, how we can create more of a requirement? Does that mean Fitbits get involved? Does that mean logging, tracking, things like that get involved? But during this quick season that we came into, we were very cognizant of not making any requirement for our students. Just making sure that their health, their mental health, their studies came first. And then we were there also should they ever need. So for the future, yes, absolutely. I think if we would ever need to continue on with this online learning, we would absolutely look into logging and things like that. But for now, we want to say we're here. That said, if you have a child that needs a little extra kick in the rear or something like that, let me know, because I'm happy to reach out to that child and to say, hey, listen, I want to see you at 10 workouts. And if you're at 10 workouts, you know, maybe we're gonna have a T-shirt waiting for you or something like that. I don't want that to be a community-wide piece or anybody that goes to 10 workouts you get T-shirts, because we want to, you know, we want the reward to be what they're getting for that physical activity. But we're always happy to kind of give a little nudge to somebody and say, if you need something, we're here for you, and let's get a little motivated.
Yeah, I think that I'm not going to throw Adam under the bus, but I'm going to throw Adam under the bus. I think Adam said last week that he would throw out some swag for X amount of workouts or X amount of something, right? So something along those lines. And I will say that there's a very, very famous therapist. Her name is Marsha Linehan, right? And I know that when she does her therapy, she does it only with adults. They have a little folder. And on the folder, when they do their homework, she gives them a sticker. And what she talks about is how the adults will fight with each other about who has the most stickers. So I don't know if there's a way to give somebody a sticker, and if they get the 10 and how they document it, I don't know, but then maybe there is some swag or something, Tim, that you throw at them.
Hey, nothing is off the table. We're welcome to any of these conversations, or to dive into it and see how we can best do that. Absolutely.
Great. I will keep reading these questions. Thank you. This one I think is more of a comment along the same lines. I'll read it and then I'll go on to the next question. But it says, my husband and I have enjoyed biking, walking our dog, and other outside activities every afternoon, but we almost have a daily fight to have the kids join us. Even with this nice weather, it is still a challenge. We have tried giving options and doing it with them, but it's been hard. And so again, I think so many of us are struggling with this same thing as you hear this over and over again. I don't know if any parents want to chime in, and there's 14 messages waiting for me to read, and if you've already messaged, if you've given an answer or what's been working for you, forgive me, jump on right now, give us your answer, but we'd love to hear from the community as well as to what is working, if you are finding something that is working. So I will keep reading. The next one is also, will the coaches be organizing Zoom meetings with potential team members?
Do you want me to jump in that? Just because
Sure.
one thing I do know that's happening with a lot of the high school coaches, because that's really where the teams have sort of been set and they kind of start it. And I know Lisa Brown is one example. From what I understand, most of these high school coaches, which is a great thing, are inviting middle school players into the mix. So Lisa, I know, has asked I believe all the middle school female basketball players to come and join a workout. But there's also, I think, something to be said where I know like boys varsity basketball has a great core of people, and they're working out together as a team, and they come together as a team. I know girls hockey, which has a lot of middle school members, they've come to been asked to come to Will's workouts on occasion. Sometimes more kids have shown up, sometimes less kids have shown up. I suspect that's maybe due to the weather up there, I'm not sure. But there have been a lot of reach out from the coaches, especially at the higher levels, to come and bring middle school kids into the mix, which has been great. You know, we ask, whether they come or not, we can't, you know, we want them to come and want them to be there and want them to be part of it. We don't necessarily, as a department, want to force that on them.
So thank you, Peter. Just looking at the questions as they go down, Ingrid, I don't know if that answers your question that you posted. I think it does. And then it looks like Tim, you posted the website for everybody. Thank you. Forgive me as I try to read this. I love that the coaches are encouraging workouts and hosting chalk talks and other types of presentations related to sports. Is it possible to schedule these activities so that there is no time overlaps? And is there any forward momentum with the ideas about swag rewards for completing a certain number of workouts? So we answered. But what about the first part of that question, Tim?
The swag. Everybody wants the swag. It all comes back to this. Everybody in this chat gets a swag. All right. So
Tim, I still want swag. I still haven't received
once I
any
see you
swag.
at a workout, I'll give you a sticker. How about that, Jeff? You got a sticker.
Let me know. I'm in.
All right, sounds good. So the overlapping workouts, yeah, that's the tricky part, is that we're really trying to. There's a lot of moving pieces, and so sometimes we'll have a workout in the morning, but a chalk talk in the afternoon. We make sure that it's never during the. We make sure that it's never during classes, obviously. Sometimes we're unfortunately subject to other people's schedules. So if we have, a professional athlete come in to talk to a team or something like that, it's tricky. It's kind of around their schedule, and we need to work on that. But what I'll do is that's a great point, and that's why sometimes with these workouts that we're doing, while we're having newly admitted students coming in, we've spread it out throughout the days. What I'll do is I'll bring that up with our coaches meeting, and maybe what we'll do is we can kind of create a spreadsheet that has dates on it, and those dates they can put in when they're planning on doing an event to make sure that nothing overlaps with other coaches. So I appreciate you bringing that up, and that's a really good point. So thank you.
So somebody said some creative ideas are to get the kids outside, which would be that we've had more success with our obstacle courses, archery, and overnight camping in the backyard. So that was from a parent with some things that had been successful. What's that TV show? Is it like Ninja Warrior, where they go through those obstacle courses? And if somebody wants to create that would be wonderful. It would be great to have tennis in the fall. Any thoughts on that?
Again, I think it's definitely a fall in the middle school. In the high school, it's not the season. That's the only difficult part. So there's nobody to compete against. And the thing is, the middle school has a great tennis program, and we would never want to take away court time for that. The only reason, the way that it would kind of move into the fall for us is should that season move into the fall, which is not out of the question with what we're planning for the future. So that's something that might be, interesting for the future.
Got it. So it says Gus's uses, I just lost it. Sorry, everybody. Gus's uses the sticker idea in the middle school, and it's brilliant. So see, Gus's, you think like Marshall Linehan, just letting you know. All good. Let's see. Gus is, I was smiling hearing that line of discussion. You're welcome. Okay. Tim and Adam from last week. These are great ideas to motivate kids. If they lack internal motivation, as apparently many kids now struggle with, it would be helpful to have some form of external motivation. We know, and I see that physical activity is key to improving both mental and physical health. So same thing. I do think some kind of accountability would help, especially for middle schoolers. Okay. Any other thoughts on that?
Offer some thoughts just on the middle school accountability question. Peter and I have been talking recently, and mostly as a result of these weekly conversations, about various ways of incentivizing. And so I would say stay tuned for more information about sort of the swag prize program. But in terms of a daily requirement or something like this, I just sort of want to acknowledge again that one of the challenges in the middle school is that our numbers are great, as every kid is currently on an athletics roster. So that's, close to 350 kids that are signed up for a sport, and each sport is coached by a teacher who's also carrying a full-time load. And so effectively what we'd be talking about is extending not just the kids' virtual days, but the teachers' virtual days also. And so our strategy thus far has been to try to put as many of the asynchronous opportunities in front of them as possible, while also making sure that that kids can be a part of the live opportunities that are offered by the upper schools athletic staff and the lower and upper elementary schools PE staffs. And so those, we can continue to try to encourage kids in those directions. And I think we'd like to try to leverage the incentives before we go to like an accountability model where we have people ticking boxes and making sure that kids are in certain places for fitness at the end of the day, every single day. I just think that is a huge lift for a group of teachers that are already lifting quite a lot. So I'm hopeful that the incentive plan will work, and also hopeful that conversations like these about how to provide for some accountability at home can be helpful as well, because I think that could be a good strategy too, creating an expectation in the family that kids are exercising X number of days a week, and we're trying to make available the resources that help make that possible.
Thanks, Lynn. Julie wrote, you could do a week or 3 days of fitness that they come back to their advisor or seminar teacher with logs. Maybe that could jumpstart good habits.
Yeah, and actually we did do that in seminar this year. That's a great suggestion. We did do that as we were talking about the nutrition unit and fitness unit. We did that. Again, I also encourage you. It's a difficult time. I mean, when they're in school and participating, we can say, get out there on the field, on the court, on the ice, things like that. I definitely encourage you as parents to help, do that. Give those, tell the students, like, nope, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes a day. That's all it really is. You get 20 minutes, you get your heart rate up. It changes your life. And so we have a full website. We have live classes. We're going to start actually, we found ways that we can record the live classes actually, and do it so it doesn't look like a whole Brady Bunch checkerboard, that it's just just Will Turner doing those live classes. And something that I've talked with my seminar kids about, what's so important is keeping a routine during this time. The kids are so happy because they can just roll out of bed at 8:29, turn on their computer, and they're there for first period. I say, I want you to get up every day. I want you to still get up, even though you can sleep till 8:29, get up at 7 o'clock. And I want you to do, if you can't make Will's workout at 3:15, do it at 7 o'clock in the morning and do it for a half hour. And then you can, shower, get ready, and you're going to have your day started. But I think getting a routine is so important for these kids and making sure that they have that routine. But the tough part is we're not here to get them doing that routine. So I highly, highly motivate the families, the people at home to say, this is what we're going to do. This is what it's going to be. Turn your computer off 20 minutes, and then you can turn it back on, something like that. But I think that's an important piece of what we need to do and work as a team in that.
The other thing just to mention, because I know everybody keeps pointing to Will's workouts, but for the middle school and actually for the upper school as well, it just worked out that Rose Moyes does a fitness class on Tuesdays at 3:30 that I'm not sure many people know about, but it's unbelievable, and it's not just for dancers. If any of the parents have ever been to one of her workouts, you can imagine how tough it is. And there was a sophomore boy that came to it yesterday, plus a third grader and a kindergartner that tried it for about a half an hour, not a half hour, well, 15 minutes, and said, turn the camera off. But it is a great workout that she puts on every Tuesday. And then Jen Denali does a yoga session every Monday and Wednesday at that same time slot 3 to 4 or 3:30 to 4. So all those live classes, we are trying to figure a way out of how to tape them and then put them in our website where parents and families can access them anytime. And parents are welcome to come to these as well. So I would think if like Will would be happy if a parent jumped on. I think there is one parent who's on this chat right now who might be doing these with her daughter. Not sure if she's there with them, because most of Will's things, the screens are turned off, which is fine. But parents can do all these live workouts with their kids if they choose to.
Yeah, that's a good point, Peter. If they ever even wanted to do the recorded session and get up in the morning with the kids, hey, we're going to get up together and we're going to do this workout that happened yesterday. Let's do it together. I mean, that's an awesome time, that you can instill and create and produce some lasting memories.
So I'm just going to add in 2 cents. There's 2 ways to go about this. One is you hope that your children understand the benefit of getting outside and they choose to do it on their own. Based on our chat here, it looks like a lot of them are choosing not to, whether they know it is helpful or not. The other piece of it is, it's providing external motivation from you. And that can be both positive reinforcement or getting some swag, or, positive punishment, which would be taking away something. Now, we hate to go there, but the exercise is that important to get them moving. What I like to do in the office is have a discussion with them about what are they doing instead of exercising? What are you doing instead of doing your homework? And when they start to explain themselves, they really can't give you an answer. And often what you find is that they themselves get stuck because they can't respond. They don't have a good answer to you. So a simple question of, then how hard would it be for you to do 20 or 30 minutes, right? And usually they don't know what to say to that, but what they'll say to me is, I have a hard time getting started. Like, I just can't get started. I just can't get moving. I just can't take that first step. I just can't open my book and do the homework. So with that, I often talk about, and you've heard me say, think like an ant, or do really small steps, or just do 5 minutes, or just do 2 minutes, but get started. So if we're not going to be looking at externally driven techniques, which would be either reinforcement or positive punishment, then I would say try having that conversation about what else could they be doing in this time that they're wasting. Guaranteed they are spending plenty of time that they have no idea that they're wasting. So I don't know if that will help you all, but I would try something along those lines. Polly wrote a good question. Where can we access Rose's class right now, Peter?
I believe that, so she gives it to middle schoolers. So I believe Flynn has it on his Sunday message, but I can, I don't know that I want to blast that email out to everybody, but I will make sure Flynn has it. I'll make sure Dr. Winters has it, that they can put that on their Sunday link. It's something that I manage, and it goes 3:30 to 4, which is about all the kids can handle. And she gets the same 20, 25 kids every single Tuesday. But it's she would love to have more. But I will make sure Flynn and Dr. Winters has that link that they can share with everybody in their Sunday missive.
Hey Jeff, is it possible for you or one of the co-hosts to allow screen sharing for just a second? Because I've pointed people in this direction before, but it's a question that keeps coming up, and so it might be helpful if I just show everyone where some of these resources are located, if that's all right. So hopefully you can see my screen. Every middle schooler, and for that matter, middle school parent, is a part of this Middle School News Google Classroom page. And if you go to the classwork tab right up here at the top, there are a host of resources and things that are included on this coursework page. You can see everything from Earth Week, surveys that we distribute, and different assignments that we ask the whole division to do. Every Monday morning meeting video is posted here. And then last, but not, well, not last, first actually, the top always is the week activities grid. And so if you open that, every Sunday night, this gets updated. And there's a daily log of different extracurricular and social kinds of activities that are available to middle school students that week. And there's a fitness bar on here for every single day. So the sport-specific workouts that Tim shared the link to in the chat bar during this forum, that's what gets linked to here. There's Mr. Turner's strength training classes. Rose's and Jen's classes are here. Our dance parties, things like that. So this is the place that middle school students can find what's going on during the week, and including the fitness stuff. So I'd encourage you to refer your kids to these places.
Thank you, Flynn. Any other questions from parents or? So we have one. It says, non-athletics related. Yep.
Just sorry, one thing. I just saw Polly's answer, and it is the live classes are on the PE website. I will just check to make sure that the actual links are on there as well. But the live PE classes are there, but I'll make sure the links are there.
Thank you.
Peter, here, I'll turn my video on for a second. We haven't put the live Zoom classes on the PE athletics web pages purposely for security reasons. So they're available through all the totally internal mechanisms, the Google Invites and what Flynn just showed.
Perfect. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Whit. Okay, now that we know school will not reconvene in person, is it possible to ramp up synchronous classes for middle schoolers? My son quickly figured out that with asynchronous classes, he doesn't have to follow the schedule and does all of the work in one big chunk. While I appreciate his industriousness, he now has long stretches of free time that he wants to fill with video games and or YouTube, which leads to exponential gains in screen time.
Lynn, you on that, or you want me to answer it?
I think he's frozen.
Flynn might be frozen.
That question just froze Flynn up. I think I hear what people are saying between the balance of synchronous and asynchronous, and it's hard because we're trying to find a balance in the overall kids' schedule. So one 8th grader, we didn't want them to have 5 synchronous classes in a day. And it's brutal. And for me, I'm on like hour 6 of, my first Zoom meeting was 7 o'clock. And I don't know about you all, but if you do from 7, I did 7 to 12. I was off from 12 to 12:30 and I've been on since. I mean, it's worse than being in person. And so I'm more exhausted. So I think what Flynn has rightfully been trying to do is think about the overall schedule of a middle school student so that they're not in 5 synchronous classes in one day. And so that's where we end up with a balance of 2 to 3 times per class per week. And we have to fit in the asynchronous stuff. Flynn, would you want to add anything different to that?
Yeah, only that it's, I just wanted to fact check one part of that. It's the expectation is 1 to 2, and the majority of the teachers are opting for 2. And it's for all the reasons that Adam just explained. In terms of and I got kicked off the internet. I think I saw it was Kathy that was asking the question. And I think I saw before I got dropped that Will is leaving himself with big chunks of time because he's able to finish things really quickly. And so the workaround that we have in place for that is if he is that efficient and is plowing through things not haphazardly, but successfully and thoughtfully. Each of his teachers is also preparing some amount of sort of additional stuff that if you are finding that your kid is understimulated, I don't think it's the synchronous, the way to stimulate them better is not to up the amount of time that they spend on the screen in a synchronous meeting with teachers. The amount of time to better or the best way to better stimulate them is to up the amount of time of engagement that they have. And teachers are prepared to provide fodder for that. So what I would recommend, Kathy, and any other parent that is confronting this, is that you reach out to your kid's advisor. Let them know that that you're feeling like they've got more time at their disposal than they should, and work with the advisor to be in touch and to partner with a couple of the teachers to think about and find some enrichment opportunities that can help keep them more busy.
So I'll read this one last comment, and then I think that we will say goodbye for this week. But this one says, what we found is that teachers are assigning great work that is due at the end of an asynchronous class. So kids are responsible for working during that period. Oh, and then it says, agreed, Flynn. Okay, so Patty was just commenting on your comment, Flynn.
And you know, Patty, I don't mean to hang you out there, and Jeff, real quick before we get out, but Patty and Kathy, it might be worth the two of you touching base, because Patty and I were in touch earlier about this with one of her girls that was plowing through some stuff real quick, and we had to round a few things out. And so I encourage parents to sort of be in touch with each other and share strategies. This forum is a great place for that, but even beyond this forum. And so I don't know what familiarity the Stark and Steele families have with each other, but it might not be a bad idea.
Oh, Flynn. Flynn, we lost you there at the very end.
I was just encouraging partnership among our parents. So Kathy and Patty, maybe I'll pick up the phone and do some idea sharing.
All right, and on that note, I want to thank the entire team that showed up again today. Thank you, PE department, for coming in and helping us out. And next week, our plan is to have on our tech department. And so look forward to that. And we will see you all next week. Enjoy the day. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.